When I was a young girl growing up in Ohio, there would come a time long about late January, early February, when I would get cabin fever. It'd be snowy and cold outside, much as it is today without the snow. But it would be snowy, and not the pretty snow that blankets the neighborhood and makes it all look like a winter wonderland. No, in February in Ohio, the snow is slushy and dirty. It's nasty. And it always seems to ooze down your boots and make your feet wet and cold. And it doesn't even pack snowballs well, or you can't even make snow forts because it's already warmed up a little bit and then refrozen, so it doesn't pack. So when it would get like this, I would spend more time indoors. But after about the 100th time of playing with my new Christmas toys, they didn't seem like they were all that much fun anymore. And all the fun indoor activities like baking cookies or having swap meets with my sister or getting my mom to play a board or a card game, all of that was also old hat. So I would start getting that feeling like I was uncomfortable in my own skin. The house would start to feel like it was a little smelly because it had been closed up so long. And I would be sick to death of listening to the easy listening channel that my mom played all the time on the radio. I would get so bored that I would feel bored to tears, sometimes literally. This is most often when my mom would say to me, "Get the stink blowed off you." Now, typically this meant, I don't care that it's cold outside, get out of the house for a while. And there was probably a subtext there too, which I think Wendy's already picked up on, that's, you're making me crazy and I need you out of the house for a while. But I never chose to hear that part of the message. So I'd bundle up and I'd go for a walk. And sometimes I'd go with friends, sometimes I'd just go find the nearest wooded area to explore. Sometimes I'd grab a dog if we had one and go for a romp and an adventure. But always, I would feel better when I got home. I would get the stink blowed off me, figuratively and possibly even literally. That cold air was always bracing, and I would feel like I had the cobwebs just swept from my mind. I would feel clearer about what was needed, and I would feel clearer about what my options were. There was something about this process that felt like spring cleaning for the soul. In my memory, all it took was that one long Saturday running around outside for me to feel like I could go another 6 weeks of winter. I suspect it was a couple of Saturdays. Recently, I heard a man by the name of Larry Smith talking about something he had recently written. What he had written was My Life with Piper, From Big House to Small Screen, the other story behind Orange is the New Black. Apparently his wife Piper was who the story was based on. And it caught my attention because my husband Jeff really seemed to like that show. I hadn't watched it at all, but because he had liked it, it caught my attention. And I stayed on the channel. But then in the second half hour of Fresh Air, the interviewer, Terry Gross, talked with Smith about the other thing he's known for, 6-word memoirs. The 6-word memoirs are exactly what they sound like. How would you sum up your life in 6 words? The idea for this came from a concept, the idea of this came from a story about Ernest Hemingway. Apparently, Ernest Hemingway had been in a bar and met somebody, and somebody bet him that he couldn't write an entire novel in 6 words. Hemingway rose to the challenge and wrote this: "For sale, baby shoes, never worn." Deep, huh? Larry Smith created the online magazine Smith in January 2006 with the designer Tim Barkow. The magazine was designed to be a place where people could tell their stories. The tagline for the magazine is, "Everyone has a story. What's yours?" Now, this was a young journal, and as Mr. Smith tells it in his Pop Tech Talk, There were two girls who had taken on the assignment of traveling across the United States, and they were going to introduce themselves to all their online friends. And they were supposed to write regularly as they met people and talk about what it was like. But as Larry says, they bailed on the fourth day. So in November 2006, they had a hole. And Smith and editor Rachel Livermore fast-tracked an idea that they'd been playing around with, using limited words to convey something larger, a la Hemingway. But they gave it a personal twist, asking Smith readers to tell their life story in just 6 words. Readers could submit their entries on the Smith website or via Twitter, which was actually fairly new at that time. The online mag would choose an entry to win, and they were going to give away an iPod. The idea took off. Computers crashed, it took off so well. And it was so powerful, and people kept submitting entries even after the contest was over. Eventually, Smith and Livermore ended up compiling their favorites into books. In 2009, Smith and Livermore went on the Leonard Lopate Show. It's a New York talk show along the lines of Fresh Air. On this show, Smith stated, 6-word memoirs have become a powerful tool to catalyze conversation, spark imagination, or break ice. He explained that several books had come out of the project since so many people had participated. Entries could be categorized by subject matter, like identity or love or misery, and so the books just kind of flowed out. But communities began to use the tool as well. Churches and synagogues have used the 6-word concept as a way to investigate the crux of their faith, or the crux of an idea. Smith tells of a time when he heard that a church asked its congregants to consider what Jesus would have written for his 6-word memoir. And synagogues have asked people to give advice in the same format around the topic of atonement. So Larry Smith says that all kinds of groups have used this notion. Veterans groups, speed dating groups, suicide hotlines, even schools. Smith became aware that schools were using this as a writing prompt for kids, 3rd grade to college. And some of the one-liners that come from the younger set are amazingly profound. For example, I couldn't resist sharing a couple with you. This one is a kid from Miss Nickerson's class. Look mean and be nice to everyone. And the tortured butterfly says, delve beneath the surface, find treasure. Maria Coyle says, courage pushes away my worst fears. The kids were so into it that they were submitting these entries like more than one a day. So the magazine actually had to separate out the teenagers and give them their own kind of playground just for them. Now you can see that the concept has evolved and it incorporates more than just the summation of a life. On the Leonard Lopate Show, Smith was asked, what makes this best 6-word story? And he responds, authenticity. Tell the truest story you can tell. Mr. Smith believes that this concept has taken off so well because it's easy, it's addictive, and there is power in being able to choose your own words. So I want to know what your 6 words of wisdom are. Now today, as you came in, I believe that you got a half sheet of paper. And if anyone managed to get in without this, all you need to do is raise your hands and the ushers can get you one. And they've got writing implements if you need one. And for those of you who are tech savvy, you can feel free to write it out on your phone, and you can tweet it to hashtag UUCiL. You can Facebook it to UUCiL Unitarian, or you can text it to me at 925-216-4177. I thought this was really cool when Wendy did it. So I'm going to give us about 5 minutes so that you can really think about it. And then we're going to share with the neighbor what came up for us. So go for it. 6 words, your best wisdom, the summation of your life, however you want to do it. So I'm going to bring us back together. And now that we've kind of, limbered up our bravery by sharing it in a small group, is there anybody that wants to share it in a larger group? All right. I know there's some good ones because the texts are good.
This is actually not a story of my life. It's a history of the last 2 weeks. No phones, no internet, no heat. The last one is today.
I like my house as a ghost.
Love, family, friends, help in community.
Music reflects the spirit of soul.
Nice. These are fun, huh?
In imagining we're separate, we're one.
Mama modeled standing up. Now me. And then I have a second one. Fear's gone. Now I am old. Learn, teach, be kind, stay active.
Nice.
Born poor, was blessed, am grateful.
I feel like I'm a host on a game show.
Unfinished, my life is now.
Be happy, live fully, arrive safely.
One girl, one life, one love.
Seek out the good in others.
Anybody else? I think there's a power in having a short piece of wisdom that we can hang on to. For me, when I realized that Mom's advice fit into 6 words, I had to chuckle. I still use this phrase. My husband's going, yes, she does. Anytime I have that feeling that the world is closing in and like I'm getting stagnant in my thinking or in my body or in my heart, I think to myself, get the stink bloat off you. And I grab the dog and I head for a walk. It's a mantra I use to remind myself that taking a break actually benefits not just me, but whatever I'm working on. So I hope you will think about how your bit of wisdom can benefit you.